Al, 6D diesels. So on today's Will It Start Supervan 3, recently rescued out of a wood, tree line, garden, hedgerow thing for a very good friend of mine, Colin. You'll all know him as the Bearded Explorer. If you haven't found him, go and have a look. So there's a video on his channel of this being rescued by us two, and I've got the job of getting it going. So last on the road 1986 according to the tax history, and it's been sat since. So at current it's sort of rolled, it steers, the engine is locked up from being sat, and we've got an awful lot of what you'd call it, excitingness, dirt, bit of mouse doofus, definite spiderage to deal with. I'd like to do a quick tour of before we start. Now we have rolled it obviously out of a lorry, brought it back yesterday. Now I have started top quality lambs, fleecy seat covers. I've removed the engine surround and I've just started picking there's 3 plates to access her. It's a little Reliant Austin 7-esque engine. I mean, she has covered the heading heights of 43,267.5 miles. Severe spiderage. Lots and lots and lots of stuff growing in this. Lots of excitingness. We sort of have given the outside, so I'm not going to wash it, I'm just going to leave it as it is. So when we get looking under here, obviously, little 4-cylinder petrol engine, but as you can see, there's quite a lot of stuff living in here. I'll go around the other side in a minute. Now we have got some sagging on the front, both sides, a bit of damage there. As you'll see in Colin's video, did have a sort of a tree sat on it just here. So we'll attend to that. That's going to need to be jacked up, fixing and stuff, but that's later. What we need to do now is see. Look at that window, that's brilliant. Let me just, oh yes, that works. Gingerly, I've taken this panel off. I mean, look at that. So I quickly whip these off, and in there, as you will see, is a deary little 4-cylinder petrol engine, and it no turning. We've tried like it on a fan, bumping it backwards and forwards in gear. There's no turning going on. So what I'm going to do is quickly whip this cover off on the other side. Get under the bonnet first, and see if I can airline blow some of this excitingness out. Right, so as you will have seen, let's creep here a minute. That's looking a lot more pleasant in there. There's some nastiness. So we'll quickly look round here. You'll see me a second ago on the time-lapsey bit. Take the engine access plate off. So there's the distributor, and just in here are 4 leads and 4 spark plugs. So what we need to do is quickly, whilst leaning around there and it being a bit painful, is pop those 4 leads and 4 leads off and whip those 4 spark plugs out. And then we're going to wood everything surrounding it to death, with a vague hope that that helps. And then we're going to add some stuff to try and de-seize it. So after a 40-minute fight with the spark plugs. They're out. No shared spark plugs. No aluminium threads ruined in the head. As I said a minute ago, there's a little bit of corrosion on two particular plugs. I reckon it's number 1 and number 4. So what I'm going to do, and you may think I've all been smoking crack, odds jugs, lost the plot, but I'm going to fill it up with Coca-Cola. Now, for years, we did vintage tractors back in the day. So we'd get stuff out of Canada, it's not the States of America, sort of early 20s that had been abandoned in the 30s because they were out of date. Absolutely stuck fast. Not stuck fast from mechanical seizing up, stuck fast from basically having an open valve and being open to an atmosphere. And there is one thing that works really well. It's full fat Coca-Cola. Do you remember when you were a kid and you used to do that thing where you took a 2p and left it in some Coke and pulled it out and it came out looking like a brand new? Works in cylinders. So obviously it's carbonated. So it fizzles away, seems to clean things up lovely. Remember the tooth thing? You used to take your tooth out, we can dump it in there overnight, no toothy left. It ain't going to do it any harm. And I've used Coca-Cola to decease some massive agricultural engines that you poured oil in, poured diesel in, poured everything. But Coke, because of its bubbliness or whatever, seems to work brilliantly. So we're going to fill 4 cylinders on a Reliant supervan up with Coca-Cola. Right, so we've invented the patent pending Coca-Cola injection system. No one stole my idea, thank you very much. And we have a can of full fat Coke. So what we're going to do now is creep in here and put this through this in there. Oh, I need some adaptations to me patent pending Coca-Cola injection system. Yeah, I'm definitely going to need a minor adaptation to that. Right, yeah, the Coca-Cola injection system Mark II with the new adjusted nozzle on the end. Right. Oh, for God's sake, people, just leave me a bloody alone. Hello. Right. Attempt 2 and a bit. Adjusted new Coca-Cola injection system. Nozzle on end. Phone on silent. I'm going again. Look at that. Right. Injecting of Coca-Cola. Oh, perfect. Oh, you can hear it fizzling in there already. Nope, no. She's a full. Right. Oh, I'm going to need some. Shouldn't have drunk half the tin. I'm going to need some more Coca-Cola now. Right. Hang on. Tin number 2. Come on, drink it up. Yeah, she's fizzling nicely. Dee. Lovely. Number 4 being the trickiest one. Right. God, this Coca-Cola injection system. What a treat. Look at that. So I thought while I was waiting for me engine to cook, I'd obviously, because it's a proper old vehicle, it's got a fuel tank bung. So we managed to get it undone. And it is leaking goonge. So what does 1986 petrol look like? Oh, look at that. That's not very nice. How much is in there? At least it's still liquid. Or is that funky E10 ethanol crap? Ooh. Yeah, much we got left in her? Not much. So currently she's been cooking. We put all sorts of stuff in it. Coca-Cola, tried bumping it backwards and forwards. We put graphite freeing oil in it and bumped it backwards and forwards. It will not budge. So we decided the best bet was to, when we had 5 minutes, put it on the ramp. It's now a flying plastic pig. Hockey the starter motor out, as you'll see. Starter motor, there is the starter ring. And get the world's biggest bar and see if she'll turn. And as you can see, it is absolutely solid as a rock. There is not an inch of that happening. So, if it wasn't a plastic pig three-wheeler, Reliant Supervan free standard normal car, I'd just whip the head off. But the problem with that idea is that I'm not 100% sure without a load of arse and a load of problems, I can get my fat self in that tiny gap up there to take the head off. What I've done, you want to see me a second ago, is drained the oil. So I'm going to take the sump off, because that's easy. And then we're going to get into the crank, see if we can figure out which cylinder it is that is stuck. And then use some agricultural spec viciousness to, if I can disconnect the big end con rod that is technically, hopefully it's only stuck on one, see if the rest of them will move, and then come up with a cunning plan on how to force a piston to move up and down from underneath instead of up top. Sounds like a brilliant plan to me. And if that fails, we're going to have to try and take the body off. Probably the easiest, because it's going to need some structural repair, because obviously this chassis leg here is quite good. This one over here is the lightweight racing version. It has self-lightened itself quite spectacularly. Anyway, so what I'm going to do now, time lapse, take sump off. So after removing quite a sizable amount of disgustingness, goo, in that bucket down there, what I'm going to try and attempt to do now, whilst not shining the torch in your eye so you can all see what I'm doing, is using this top quality tiny hammer, is try and extract this sump, which hasn't been off of it probably since the day this vehicle was built, without landing the contents of it on me, and thus by gaining access to the bottom end of the engine, and not bumming it all to hell, which is also oh, she is parting. Right, here goes. We reckon's gonna be in here. Oh, look at that. Ugh. I think we'll call that tar. What we might do is we'll just take this oil strainer off while we're here, because I think that might need a wee bit of love too. I'll just use this adjustable metric imperial spanner that I happen to have here. I reckon that's about 3/8 of an inch. Yes, look at that. So we'll have that out of the way. And we'll clean that before we attempt any description of startage. Right. Do. Because that is minging. Right. What do we look like in here? Oh, yes. No wonder it don't want to move. So We're a bit seized looking. Right, I'll get you in here in a minute and you can have a closer look at the inside of this engine. As you can see, it's pretty dry in here. And if you look up into those cylinders, you can see surface rust and stuff in all of them. That one there's looking, and the fact that there is nothing even crept past those piston rings after being full up with stuff for ages. So what we're going to try and do now, you can even see the little camshaft up in there, look at it, bless it, is I'm going to get lubricating on some stuff and see if we can tap this free somehow using bits of wood and hammers and stuff. Right. Cunning plan number 2. What I've decided to do, instead of going at it like a demented rhinoceros like I normally do, is to attempt a gentle approach involving the small gas torch nozzle and a bit of heat. And see, without setting fire to myself, or the building, or the car, if I can gently warm the bottom end of this engine and see if that'll fray it off. I can't think of anything else. Hopefully it don't catch fire. And if it does, I suppose I've got a load of Coca-Cola in here to put it out. Oh, I don't like this. Oh. Right, let's see if that did anything. See if we can get any degree of movement. Will she budge? Not the best way of doing this. Just a tiny she. Come on, little wagon, just free a bit. Be nice. She's a sensible. Might be doing something. We're getting liquid down here. It must be Coca-Cola coming out of the cylinders. Tappage on here. I'd like to point out this is a copper angle, so we're not damaging anything. Not damaging anything yet, anyway. Put the torch in a more appropriate place. some of the charm on a bit better than that, can't we? I don't really want to leave her against the side of a block, but let's do it out, I suppose. Let's just see what we can. Did a little casting. Come on, Mr. Reliant. I want to live again. Come on. What do we do? What do we do? We're going to need to get some more heat into it, you know. This thing is solider than solid, tighter than a nun's knickers, basically. So I've tried everything. I cannot get it to turn over. So I'm going to need to take the cylinder head off. So I've come up with another grounding cutting plan, because I reckon a talented man somehow could probably get this here small engine and gearbox as the bottom. I've got a fair bit of it disconnected already, so I'm thinking prop shaft off, gearbox mount out. I reckon I've got to take a gear lever out and I cut the burst straps off. Already got the clutch disconnected, that I can sort of go like this on a gearbox stand, gearbox jack, which is there. And then in theory, if I can get this out on the floor down here, I can whip the head off and then we can beat on some pistons. And that might free it off, because at the moment nothing is freeing it off. We've heated it, filled it full of stuff, bashed it, beat it, bashed it, beat it. It is not going round and round. So that's my next plan. This bit here. Sorry, I haven't got the lowering it out of here bit, but it all got a bit exciting because it's not very heavy, as you can see. But it is a bit awkward and it got a bit wobbly on the thingy, and then the camera fell over. So here it is. One slightly seized Reliant Diddy little engine. Same as sort of ish similar to Austin 7, I think. I think it's where the engine came from originally, apart from the Austin 7 did not have the water pump, it just thermocoupled. Anyway, on that useless piece of information, what we're going to do now is we're going to quickly whipping this gearbox off, because we don't need that on there. Get that out of the way for a bit of cleanage. And then, also take that off. Yep. And whip the rock cover off, put the cylinder head off, see what lies inside. Because it's still no turning over. But this is more accessible now, and well, it was quite easy, wasn't it? No fiberglass damage. I mean, dying for a Hayabusa engine or something seriously stupid like that would just Hayabusa's probably a bit big. I mean, even like a 500 or a 600 motorcycle engine in there would be fun, wouldn't it? I suppose it's not original. Anyway, I shall stop waffling and pull this apart. point now, obviously you'll see the rocker cover is off, so well, it's only one stuck valve. You can ease that stuck. Right, what I'm going to do now is quickly. Please excuse the slight use of metric and imperial sockets here, but we're getting through it. We are getting through it. In fact, I'll move the rocker rail. Ugh. Come on. Quickly pop all this lot off. Oh, look. We're still tight. We're at the tub, aren't we? Your engine bit's separate from the other mankiness. We can find something in a minute. Perfect. With ingenuity. Dee 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 dee. Yes, it is. Look at that. Right, so that's the rock shaft out, which doesn't appear to be safe. Put that over here somewhere. Now, push rods. It's obviously a push rod engine, so clamps mounted down the side down here pushes these little rods, which then push the rockers, which open the valves. In theory, the mechanical perfectness should be kept in their original series, so they're worn to their buckets and their bits and bobs. So, in a Blue Peter styling, is a piece of cardboard I made earlier with 8 holes in it and F tattooed on the front. So what you do is you just pop your push rods in order in your manky bit of cardboard. Give it here. So, with front written on it, so obviously front of engine, so that they're all in line and you can't lose them. Marvellous. So I think we need to quickly lose the fuel line. This is going to come undone. Where's my half-inch spanner? Stop using it. What's that? Bright blue. They made it bright blue, so you couldn't lose it. You didn't lose it, you just put it there. Whoa. I thought we might need to put looping on that. Always remember the great mechanical saying, things to degrees go easy. Doesn't work quite as well in your love life, apparently. That's what the wife told me. I think the words were sod and off, but anyway, it's another story. More on these that's just what, if anyone, a company called Innotech, I think they're based in Salisbury, and they make the best penetrating oil known to mankind. This stuff, I mean, graphite is spectacular, but you have to be, it's a bit spendy per tin, so you have to hide it from the staff so that they don't use it on everything. I think it's like 16, 18 pound a tin, whereas a slightly bigger tin of wood at the moment is about £5. But if you've got something that's stuck, Innotech, D-block oil, brilliant stuff. Right, let's get this fuel line out of the way and neatly store that in the floor-based spares department over that. So, I suppose we could use a whack-a-whackery gun, couldn't we? Go gently with a whack-a-whackery gun. Let's see if we can wacky some head bolts off. Either on 9/16 of an inch, or as close as we can get. That works. In an ideal world, obviously, you would like to release these in series. But do remember that this engine has been sat dead in a hedge since 1986. And she is seized. Solid. Absolutely solid. Give it here. Let's do a bit of that one's going. Yeah, that's definitely working. Ooh. Bit tighter than you expected it to be. Yeah, okay. You don't like that one, do you? Right. Let's introduce some backplate power. Yeah, that's about time. Let's de-wacky while we're just a bit lazy, you know. Yeah, that's easy. Yep. Ooh. Yep. And last but not least, oh, marvellous. Back to whackering. It sounds like it's raining in this place. When we first moved in, the roof's insulated and you'll hear all the creaking and crackling. It's actually quite a nice sunny day out there because you can tell when the sun's come out. Because the roof's insulated and all the polystyrene insulation goes absolutely mental and sounds like it's raining. Useless piece of information that you don't need to know. Explains the slightly strange raining noises in the background. As you can see out there, it's quite obviously not raining currently. Give it here. Come on, you nasty little thing. That's it. Thank you. Yeah. Right. A bit more, but yeah, that's perfect. Ah, yeah, see. I mean, the other thing about doing these YouTube videos is when it comes to doing nothing like this, you don't have to remember as much where everything went. Because when it's like a week later and you thought, nuts, where did that bracket go? You just watch back through your footage. And you're like, that's where that bracket went. Every cloud has a silver lining, you know. And I'm not getting wet today. Last weekend I got soaked. God. So we've got there's a little thermostat housing link hose on the front now. I think we're going to have to get that off of there. And I reckon some gentle persuasion, it's commonly known as a hammer, this may lift off. It's amazing that a vehicle that's been sat now, I mean, it was a bit covered in goo. I mean, if you watched an Bearded Explorer's video, you'll see where it was sat. But so far, everything via one exhaust stud that did shear off on me, but I did go a bit heat around at it. That's come undone. Whereas, if this was some 2005 based disaster, I'd have sheared loads of stuff off by now. Because that's just the way modern stuff seems to be these days. It's not quite as good as you'd like it to be. Is that going to come off there? Oh, look at that. That's a 1972 radiator hose and it's still pliable. And it would probably still function. Right, we're going to tuck that. Oh, damn. I think that one might not be quite as pliable. We'll find out in the space pile later. Now, yeah, I'm sort of expecting that. So we're assuming this thing is going to be, oh no, I'm an idiot, and there's some more bolts down the side, down here. Half inch. There's 3 of them, hiding. half an hour trying to pick the cylinder head off of it with 3 bolts still attached. We look at everything as an upside. Rocket scientist, how are you supposed to get on that one? Honestly, who designed this stuff? No. Yes. Ignore the fact this is a 13mm spanner. It'll undo it. I think 1/2 inch equates to about 12.7 mil. So there's about 0.3 of a mil in it. It'll be fine for these purposes. Right, we're back to 1/2 inch now. All doing really well. They wasn't posh ages ago, blue coated 1/2 inch spanners. I've only used them once and the blue coating's fallen off. Anyway, well, admittedly, in most modern workshops, they could call us a modern workshop, 1/2 inch spanners actually aren't an awful lot good anymore. I think we've got one bit worth. That's for brake battery terminals. Because battery terminals were 1/4 inch Whitworth, weren't they? Probably in theory still are. Right. So, bar. Favourite bar. Have we got not a sausage's worth of movement? That is stuck on there, isn't it? I've still got a bolt in it. Honestly, man, concentrate. Where's the wanky one? Right. Try getting rid of that first. That will help things massively, won't it? I bet you it still won't come off. Look. Drink your coffee before it goes cold. Oh, I bet that will sound nice on a bit of video footage, me slurping one. Do you reckon you have any? Oh, she sounds solid, doesn't she? Like I expect if you hadn't been on there since 1972, it's only going to pop off in one swift thunk on you. Let's just try a little bit of salt. No, that's just denting the timing cover. Right, I think we're going to have to get vicious with it. Right, now we do seem to have, I can get some of these head studs to turn, but that one, and that one, they know turning. So you can put 2 nuts on top of a head stud, crank them together for something old like this, and then you can actually unscrew the stud out of the block. So thus you'd know that this stud was not stuck in this head. So these ones are lovely, these ones aren't. So what we're going to do is do what we always do and set fire to it. I always find things tend to work better once you set fire to them. Right, so after lighting on its side, hitting it with the copper-based technical adjustment device, we are to a point where you lot and me get to be the first person to see inside of this thing since about 1971. So I know putting a bar in between a head and a thingy probably isn't ideal, but it's only stuck. I'm not putting dents in it. He said, what are we stuck on now? Come off. Technical adjustment device. Ooh, look at that one. I wonder if it doesn't turn over. go. Yes. Come on. Wedging yourself in there. Right. Ta-da! Ugh. Right. Yeah, it's not really surprising that was seized, was it? You can see, that's not very nice. It has worked though, because I mean these bores are not awful. I mean Coca-Cola and all the penetrating oil, I mean there's a bit of chroming going on there, but there is definitely no turnage. So I think this head gasket may very possibly have had its day. So what we're going to do, I'm going to blow all the gack out of this, and then we'll make ourselves up a nice wooden drift to give these pistons a bit of a tap. Right, so I've blown all the gack out the top of the engine. I'm going to take it outside and steam it to death. Now you're going to hate me for this one, but I think this one's going to be a two-parter. Because this wasn't just quite as easy as wanging it over, chucking a battery on it, cleaning some plugs and threads and fuel at it. And we're going to need to acquire gaskets and stuff for this, which, funnily enough, I don't have. So, can we get the Bearded Explorer's 1972 Supervan 3 Plastic Pig, whatever you want to call it, to start after being parked since 1986? I reckon we can. Come and see us next Sunday, as long as I can get the gaskets. And you'll find out. Thank you very much, Al. CP Diesel.